This moron essentially kidnapped multiple car salesmen, endangering their lives with 170-mile-an-hour plus fake test drives, where he essentially never intended on buying the car and instead filmed their reactions for attention on social media. And as it seems, what he's been doing is not just dangerous, but it might actually be kidnapping. I mean, it's safe to say when someone goes to a dealership to test drive a car, most of the time the expectation is they're at least interested in buying the car. But not this guy. He's there to just strain the car as much as possible for some TikTok and Instagram likes in the name of content. So this is Amir Saeed. He's become infamous in northern Texas for taking exotic cars on test drives from dealerships and absolutely flooring them, while a helpless car salesman is sitting trapped in the passenger seat. And I'm talking about extreme excessive speeding and burnouts on public roads while filming the poor dude sitting next to him.
All right. Are we looking to make a deal on it today?
Possibly. We'll see.
Say hi, man. Hey, yo. Stop. No, stop the car right now. You over here. Stop over here. Okay. I'm not playing that.
What a low-life scumbag. Like, dude, if you want to do this, get your money up, buy the car, and hit the track, because all this will do will get you thrown in jail. Clearly, this isn't a one-time thing. He's been doing this repeatedly at multiple dealerships to the point where the Texas Automobile Dealers Association had to issue a statewide alert about him last summer, warning members of their sales staff that they were being endangered by this guy. Yeah, an entire state of car dealerships had to warn about this one guy on Instagram and TikTok. Like, come on. That's when you know you have a special kind of problem. According to Matt Ducey, Ducati. Is that Ducat or Ducote? According to Matt Ducat, who's a general manager at Moritz Kia and Hertz, is upset, saying there are other people's lives at risk. You can see them doing this out on the streets. It's just an unsafe situation when someone is driving recklessly like that. And I mean, imagine being stuck in a car with someone who suddenly floors it and goes to 170 miles an hour on a public highway while you're just trying to do your job there. Then you have one salesman, Edgar Lopez, explain that this was supposed to be a quick test drive and it turned into a 2.5 hour nightmare. Like, come on, 2.5 hours of that? That's not even a test drive at that point. That's a hostage situation. The salesman also said that he was ignored entirely whenever he told the driver to get off the road or slow down. Isn't that by definition kidnapping? 1 second, I gotta act like my own Wade from Kim Possible here. Okay, so kidnapping or abduction is the unlawful abduction or confinement of a person against their will. Yeah, that justifies the title of this video.
We're supposed to only go up the street, loop around El Dorado, and then come back. He decided to ignore all instructions from me.
Sales associate Edgar Lopez says Saeed instead got onto 75 in McKinney at speeds topping 160 miles an hour. While he's smiling in the videos online, Lopez says inside he was panicking.
There was just a whole bunch of emotions of fear and just wanting to get back to my house and wife and kids safely. But basically got to the point where we ended up somewhere north of Fort Worth.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Being trapped in a car with some social media clout chaser, wondering if you'll actually make it home to your family, that's wild and absolutely unacceptable. But what's messed up about this is this guy is exploiting these salespeople's desire to make a sale, because all these incidents happen during these guys' work hours. And you think if you're about to close a deal on an expensive car, you know that commission, that's normally a fat check. So you might be a little bit hesitant to speak up right away when a test drive starts going a little sideways. As Matt Ducat also pointed out, if you think that you're about to sell a car, you might not say what you would normally say to someone who's driving that way, like swearing or speaking your mind.
It's just a scary situation when you're not in control and someone's driving recklessly. And if you're thinking you're about to sell a car, you may not say what you would normally say to somebody that's driving that way.
So in the end, he's basically just exploiting the fact that these salesmen are trying to be professional, make a living. And I do have to acknowledge the car salesmen and car dealers in general, they can be one of the most financially predatory places for a person to be, especially young people. I mean, there are very few places that can convince a young adult to buy a $60,000 thing on payments spread out over like 6 to 7 years and then suddenly that thing is worth half the value just 3 years later. And then you add some crazy high interest into the mix and things can get pretty bad. I'm just saying, you could really get wrecked if you let some smooth-talking salesman and a finance team hit you with that debt trap wombo combo and you buy something you absolutely cannot afford. But also, at the end of the day, that's a skill issue on your part, and it's your responsibility to know what you can actually afford. While the business can be predatory, these guys definitely don't deserve to be trapped in a car with a reckless driver that they don't even know. If anything, this guy is really just selling those kill switches, but why hasn't anyone done anything to stop this guy? Well, that's where things get a little complicated. CBS News Texas contacted nearly a dozen dealerships featured in Amar Saeed's videos, but surprisingly, only 2 said they actually called the police, and neither appeared to have filed a report.
He gets on the test drive with the salesman and immediately starts just spinning the tires, and it looked like he was going 100, 120 miles an hour. The salesman was pretty scared.
So if they really want something done here, they actually have to press charges or file police reports. However, according to CBS, law enforcement sources who have seen the videos said that some of them could be considered careless, reckless driving, or even unlawful restraint. Yeah, that's right, unlawful restraint, as in holding someone against their will. Because when you're in the passenger seat inside of a car that's going 170 miles an hour and there's nothing you can do to stop the car and you're begging the dude to stop, it's safe to say the comparison of you being held hostage isn't unfair.
Bro, what's up? Chill. Bro.
Of course, when he posted a video answering questions about potential legal troubles for his stunts, he didn't take any accountability for his actions, but instead, he said this.
How is the individual driving in those videos not in legal trouble? Well, I'm not an attorney or anything like that, but these videos are quite old for that individual who's driving in those videos. And so the cars are completely fine, no issue with the cars at all. They drive fine, so no provable point that there's been damage under the car. There's no damage to the car.
Why do these guys love to taunt the repercussions of their own actions? That's kind of like pushing someone into a pool and saying, well, they didn't drown, so what's the real problem here? The problem is the reckless endangerment, because he's putting everyone's lives at risk here with that behavior. And again, it's all for just some basic social media attention. This behavior has clearly gone on for quite some time. As mentioned earlier, the summer of 2024 was when they first blasted out this warning to all these dealers. They claim he pretends to be serious about the vehicles he has zero intentions of buying, simply to just get a test drive so he can record himself driving recklessly. And he's actually somehow still posting content fairly regularly. So it's not like he's been stopped yet. Because if he continues, I mean, that's coming inevitably. Now, there are plenty of automotive YouTubers and Instagram personalities creating exciting content without endangering innocent people. And there's a clear difference between what he was doing, pushing 170 on what looked to be a 55-mile-an-hour public road, versus some casual speeding on an open road. Then obviously the best case scenario is just using tracks, closed courses, or private property if you're trying to run a car like he was trying to run a car here. Because let's be real, this guy is not showcasing his driving skills or reviewing cars. He's just scaring the crap out of the salesperson for views. It's the same energy as those pranksters who harass fast food workers or do absolutely disgusting stuff in grocery stores just for some views online. It's not original, it's not impressive, you're just being a burden to society.
We're done.
But one thing that is incredibly crazy about the situation is how Saeed doesn't seem to realize how much trouble he can actually be in. In Texas, reckless driving is a Class B misdemeanor, which is punishable up to 6 months in jail and fines up to $2,000. And that's just for one instance of reckless driving. And he's filmed himself doing this dozens of times. So because he loves to snitch on himself, these can stack. And then you have the unlawful restraint, which isn't hard to prove either because, you know, he snitches on himself for attention on social media. That could be up to a year in jail for every single count. Then on top of that, all these sales guys could easily sue him for emotional distress or trauma. And again, he's provided all the evidence here. So it's safe to say his social media earnings would not be able to foot the bill for that. And again, I mean, he's not even endangering his own life or the salesman's life. He's also endangering everyone on the road who's unfortunate enough to be there at the same time as him. As we covered before in like January of this year, where you had that TikToker who just obliterated an entire family, all because he was trying to film some social media video, that could easily happen here as well. And the fact that Syed doesn't realize this or doesn't care shows how much of a moron he is. Fortunately for him, though, Texas is one of the best states for getting away with speeding. I guess that's unfortunately for the rest of the people. But at the end of the day, you reap what you sow, and if he continues this, I have no doubt that this will catch up to him, but at least he got some social media attention. Maybe, just maybe one day he'll stop being the person 50 Cent was talking about in Window Shopper and actually does something productive in his life and for society. But other than that, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.